Hi, this is Professor Collins with a brief screencast lecture on covering beauty and accessories. As much as we have been focusing on fashion, it's important to remember and acknowledge the importance of beauty and accessories in covering fashion. This will be a part of your job if you were to work in fashion. At some point, you will have to write about beauty and you will certainly have to write about accessories. So let's talk about beauty first. Now, to just give you an idea of how large a picture, or large a part that beauty plays in the industry, consider these figures. The U.S. prestige beauty industry, that means beauty products that are sold in the department stores. Sales reached $11.2 billion and grew 3% in dollar sales in 2014. This was according to NPD Group, which is a group that does industry statistics and that sort of thing. Makeup experienced the healthiest gain, 6%, while fragrance grew 2% and skincare increased by 1%. This is comparing 2014 to 2013. So that's a large part of the industry and something to certainly consider. Okay. Prestige products, which are those sold in department stores, usually outsell those sold in what they call the mass sales, meaning stuff that's also sold in drugstores and other places. So that's just certainly something to consider. So you're talking about a huge part of the industry. Now, in terms of covering beauty, and I provided some links about this, ethical concerns do come up quite a bit, especially when it comes to beauty bloggers, because this is where you have a situation where you have bloggers who are, of course, requesting products so that they can test them, but there also then come up, there are also questions that come up in terms of the legitimacy of bloggers, whether bloggers are being paid to review certain products, and just question about the process that bloggers use in reviewing products and which products they use and why. So this is just something for you to be aware of as you are writers and as you are studying the whole business of writing about fashion, and in this case, writing about beauty. Ethics really are a concern to the point that some people in the industry look down on bloggers because of all of these kinds of questions. So if this is something that you plan to pursue, you certainly want to make sure that your process and the things that you review and how you review them remain above board. Once, the genie is out of the bottle as far as you being proven or being suspected of being dishonest or unethical, it's very hard to get that back. So you want to maintain the highest standards from the very beginning. Now, as far as accessories go, here are some things to consider. Accessories have always been part of fashion. In the book Fashion Brands, Branding Style from Armani to Zara, author Mark Turngate identifies a key moment when accessories went from pure function to covetable fashion. During the latter part of the 80s, according to Turngate, there was a product that was called the Filofax. And the Filofax became the must-have accessories of the yuppies. This was during the latter part of the 80s. By popularizing this combination of address book and diary, Turngate says, this implied that its user had people to see and places to go. And so the Filofax then handed the yuppies their ultimate accessory. Accessories today and during the 80s and into the 90s and the end of the last millennium, accessories have always been seen as an entree into the luxury world. If you couldn't afford the lifestyle that a brand like Gucci or Prada or Chanel then perhaps you could at least afford a handbag or at the very least a belt. With the 1990s resurgence of luxury brands from Paris and Milan in the 1990s, the clamor for accessories as a way to tap into a new brand of sexiness, a la Tom Ford at Gucci, became the way to go. And the quest for these items became even more intense. So here's a Gucci ad from that period. And so sex, as everyone knows, always sells, and many consumers wanted in. Even those who could only afford to buy their jeans from the Gap found some extra cash for a Gucci belt. As one Vogue editor observed, quote, Tom Ford created clothes people wanted to wear. And then he explained to them that if they couldn't afford the dress or the pantsuit, then they could at least afford the sunglasses. In some cases, the resurgence of traditional brands came from those that had traditionally offered luxury accessories. That was the case with Prada. In the case of Prada, Prada was originally a family-owned luggage firm. It was considered very old-fashioned, one of those traditional firms that's always around, but wasn't considered very sexy or glamorous. But in the late 1990s, the Prada bag replaced the Filofax as the status symbol accessory of choice. Unlike the hypersexualized image promoted by Tom Ford and Gucci, Prada positioned itself as the brand for the woman who was, quote, creative, sensitive, and politically engaged. Shoes and clothes followed from Prada in the same vein. So by the 1990s, you had a series of luxury brands, Gucci, Prada, Dior, Chanel, creating a formula that pushed a resurgence in fashion overall. According to Turngate, that formula was to create young, inventive clothes and affordable accessories, and to promote them with unprecedented aggressive marketing campaigns. It's not that these and other brands hadn't produced accessories before, but the marketing behind the accessories shifted to a new level. The public, more than ever before, was made more aware of these products, how they symbolize status, and how much they should be coveted by the public because of that status symbolism. The makeover of these older brands, which had previously been seen as respected but bland, coincided with the rise of the cult of celebrity and the coverage of celebrities. And you saw this in magazines like OK, People, and Us Weekly. So by the end of the millennium, fashion was being seen as glamorous again. Accessories and the ability to provide entree into a world of status and privilege was a big part of that resurgence. Today, accessories have expanded far beyond the basic jewelry, millinery, handbags, gloves, and shoes. Some of the biggest increases have come in lifestyle-related items, such as the surge of gloves, like the Isotoner Smart Touch, that offer the ability to text while wearing a glove. You have smartwatches, which have become a huge item, Apple Watch and the competing Samsung Watch that connect to one person's smartphones. And then you have items like the Fitbit, which measure a person's physical activity throughout the day. In a 2014 Huffington Post story, it talked about the popularity of headphones, because now headphones have become a major hot fashion trend. Previously, headphones were widely seen as a utilitarian object for music listening. Now, according to GQ, the newest fashion accessory isn't an accessory at all. It's high-style headphones that make as much of a statement as anything else you're wearing. According to this 2014 Huffington Post story, there was a 32% spike in retail headphone industry revenue in 2012, lifting the market to $1.37 billion. Beats by Dre saw its revenue snowball 75% to $519 million, according to the Financial Times. Quote, headphones are really desirable to have, almost becoming essential in terms of the accessory you want when you have a smartphone or tablet. So here again, we're looking at this overwhelming resurgence of accessories, and not just the traditional accessories, but we're looking at new areas in terms of accessories. So as we are looking at what's in and what your readers of your blogs may be interested in, it's important for you to acknowledge this new wave in accessories and what this means for coverage of